Devils, Mother's Day Sunday. This is the Woo Report. The Woo Report, the Morning Woo Edition. Episode 331. Titled, Devils Are Like a Family. Yes, they are like a family on this beautiful Mother's Day in beautiful New Jersey. Coming to you live from the bunker in an undisclosed location. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. Joe Stanslow says, we are all a family in the Facebook Live. Hello, Peter Seifert, Max, Anthony, Select a Boy. And that's what I got out of the exit interviews yesterday when the Devils were cleaning out their lockers, talking about the future, who possibly could be back, who really wants to be back. And Max says, a very special Mother's Day to Ellen Hughes. We love you. Yes, Ellen Hughes, the MVP of the New Jersey Devils. But getting back to the exit interviews yesterday, I thought Jack Hughes's interview, specifically, I'll have to pull out the quote, but he was basically saying, hey, if you want to be here, sign. Not in those exact terms. I should have been more prepared this morning on the Woo Report, but Jack Hughes, you know, he is the pillar, the franchise of this Devils team, and he's basically, what he said in the exit interview, first off, he loves Erik Haula, and so do I. Erik Haula and Jesper Bratt, there's a difference between what they both said in their exit interviews, and I'm not going to try to harp on anybody or read into it, but one says, hey, my agent's going to take care of it over the summer. I want to be back. And one, Erik Haula, an emotional Erik Haula, was, no, I really want to be back here. I told Tom this morning, let's get it done. Just a different tone. And, you know, I think this team has become a family. And when that happens, there's a championship on the horizon. They're coming together as a team. Peter Seifert said Jack was honest. He is right. That's what I love about Jack Hughes. Oh, by the way, happy birthday to Jack Hughes today as well. Almost forgot about that. Turning 22 years old, showing the maturity of a 30-year-old player. But he was quite frank yesterday, Jack Hughes. He was just pretty much brutally honest. And I love that. Because that's, you know, you talk about New Jersey, the Jersey way. The way Jack Hughes has blossomed this season, forget about the numbers. He tells it how it is in this exit interview. And not too long ago, he got in a scrap with Sebastian Aho of the Carolina Hurricanes. And Jack Hughes, not known to be a scrapper, is showing that really he's become a Jersey guy right now. Being with the team since 2019, drafted, I think he's really embraced the state of New Jersey. He's really embraced his role on the team as a team leader, a pillar. And he was pretty candid yesterday about how he felt. He had an upper body injury. He's feeling better. Injured in Game 4. Well, I'm trying to get the quote What Jack said yesterday, I'm just trying to find it right now. Sorry, folks, I'm just trying to locate it, but when your phone doesn't really work and it's just not cooperating, kind of stinks when you're on live air. Oh my goodness, says the morning woo. Yes. I'm on a streak right now with this. But I think who Jack, and I'm going to speculate what Jack Hughes said. You know, he was saying about signing here in New Jersey, just get it done and over with for the most part. I think he was talking about Timo Meier. I think he's talking about Timo Meier, you know, how much you love Jersey, how much you want to be here. Well, get it done. Don't waste time. Don't waste anybody's time. And I love that. I love how candid Jack Hughes was yesterday about that. Sorry, I can't find the quote. Maybe I'll go to Amanda Stein's Twitter account. If anybody has the quote of what Jack Hughes said yesterday, please cut and paste it in the YouTube live chat or the Facebook chat, because I can't find it at the moment. A little embarrassed right now. Normally I have it, but my phone just keeps on not refreshing. But I love the candidness of Jack Hughes, and I think this is what the Devils need in that leadership, that young leadership that they have. Jack Hughes, I think I established myself as a really good player in the league. Maybe the goal scoring a bit. I don't know if anyone expected me to score 40 in my career, let alone 3 years after everyone was calling me the biggest bust ever, you know. Got a little chip on his shoulder, Mr. Jack Hughes. Love it. Because how he responded, he got results. 99 points, franchise record, over 40 goals. He did get hurt in the middle of the season, had to take some time off, but that did not deter him. He did play Game 5. Lindy Ruff saying in the exit interviews that Jack Hughes wasn't sure if he was going to play Game 5, but he did. Even though he was banged up, he figured it out. And that's the playoff experience that we wanted the players to experience, this young team, what it takes to make it in the playoffs and also get a taste of what postseason was like. Art Heaton reminding that the greatest video ever, NYR fans cheering when the Devils selected Hughes, as in Jack Hughes. Well, the Devils played the long game on this because Capo Caco, if you remember, all the analysts said he was more NHL ready than Jack Hughes at that time period. The size, his stock was rising, Capo Caco, but the Devils did the right thing. They picked the better player, the best player in the draft, which is Jack Hughes, which is being proven right now, that 2019 draft class. And it took Jack Hughes some time. Because remember how small he was when he first came out. I mean, he even admitted to saying that, the summer before training camp, he still had to ask Ellen Hughes for permission to hang out with his friends at Chipotle, And that's, but Jack Hughes, 22 years old today. If you remember a young goaltender, Martin Brodeur, he won his first Stanley Cup, I believe, at age 22, if I'm not mistaken. Very young, successful Jack Hughes. Eric Holla quoted as saying, "This is where I want to be. This is my family." And I'll tell you, I love the Hollas. Getting the chance, Paul Marino got me a ticket for Game 1 against the New York Rangers in that series. Getting to hang out with the families for one game, everybody gravitated towards Eric Holla's wife. It is a family. Curtis Lazar's wife and Eric Holla's wife are really good friends. And I think that kind of culture is so important. It is so important that your team is like a family. Remember that quote in the movie Miracle. I know it's a movie. When Herb Brooks brought in, I forgot who, from the University of Minnesota to add on to the roster, and the players had a fit because they're a family. And that's what it is, a family. Max just texted me, but I'm not sure how I can play it because I don't have that adapter on my phone to play it through the board. So we're going to do a hack job here. I'll play it from Max. I haven't reviewed it yet, so Max, hopefully this works. Hold on a second.
Eric, kind of nudging him to let's get this done, run it back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like the GM by any means, you know, so it's not up to me, but, you know, I think I know they want to come back. I know, you know, but at the same time, like it's, you got to get it done too. You can't just talk about wanting to be in New Jersey. If you want to be in New Jersey, you got to just sign the deal, you know, so those guys are obviously big parts of our team, and we'd like to have them back. And, you know, they all did a great job for us. You know, tougher for Timo coming in halfway through the year, but, you know, Bratter and Halsey, they were staple guys for us all year, and we want them back. And obviously Timo, we'd like him back too.
How much of a target?
Well, I think he's talking about both, Zach, both Brat and Timo. In generally speaking, but I think what I love about Jack Hughes when he said those words, "Don't waste my time." He basically said, don't waste any of our time. If you're not going to be here, go. Because you're saying that you want to be here, get it done. Stop wasting time. And those are traits of a good leader, a great leader. Jack Hughes, turning 22 years old today, speaking his mind. But Eric Holla, I'll tell you, that trade for Zacha for Holla, I think it's worked out for both teams, both the Boston Bruins and the New Jersey Devils. It addressed different needs for each team. But right now, if Eric Holla can re-sign, he's got the endorsement of Jack Hughes. And you know what? I really think that this is going to be something really special in New Jersey as this team is now a family. They were all individual prospects for the last few years coming together. But that's what Tom Fitzgerald has done. He brought in the veterans like Holla, like Palat, to help mold this young nucleus, this team, into a great team. And it's a work in progress right now. But boy, this past season, what the Devils have accomplished is beyond anyone's imagination. Yeah, Mrs. Wu just sent me the quote. You can't just talk about wanting to be in New Jersey. If you want to be in New Jersey, you got to sign the deal. Those guys are obviously big parts of our team, and we like to have them back. Love it. Absolutely love it. Jack Hughes. And Eric Holla. Because Eric Holla really wants to be here. Getting back to Holla. He really wants to be here. And I really want Eric Holla back. Palat saying that he's very proud of what they've accomplished this season. And Lindy Ruff, will he come back? Contract expires end of this season. I would assume that they're going to be talking the direction of the team. But boy, the job Lindy Ruff has done with this New Jersey Devils franchise. He accomplished one thing that he hadn't accomplished in his coaching career up until this season, was to win that Game 7, that elusive Game 7. And boy, did the Devils win that Game 7. Nico Hischier also speaking at the exit interviews yesterday as well. He really wants to win. I don't think any player took it harder than Nico Hischier losing Game 5. But yeah. Also, Mackenzie Blackwood, Mac Black, revealing his injuries. Was dealing with an MCL and a groin injury this season. Mac Black hurt. But I think this is really Schmidt's team at the moment. And it should be interesting what happens with the goalie situation. Also injuries, Dougie Hamilton, he had a wrist injury during the Rangers series. Ryan Graves says undisclosed. Timo Meier, broken nose versus the Rangers, basically versus Jacob Trouba. And obviously Jack Hughes with the upper body. Will Tomas Tatar be back? Be back in uniform next season. Vitek Vanacek, he has a decent cap number, but nothing to get crazy about. I think Vanacek would be an excellent 1B. That's just my opinion. I think Schmid is the guy right now. Which yesterday was his birthday as well. So you got Jack Hughes today, Schmid yesterday. What do the Devils do with Jesper Bratt? I think it all comes down to the agent and money versus Holla. Just get it done. I want to be here, Tom. Fitzy, this is my family here. I want to be here. Max said you saw Tatar left before talking to the media. Allegedly or supposedly, I shouldn't use that word allegedly. Supposedly, he didn't know he had to talk to the media. He thought he was done. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. Ted says, stunning that Jacob Trouba was not penalized. Stunning, but not surprised. Happy Devil's Sunday to you, Mike Rossi. Zach says for a clean hit. I'm assuming he's talking about Trouba. Anytime you have a shoulder to somebody's head, I view that as head hunting at this point. And the league had some mandates not too long ago about trying to eliminate those type of plays. But it seemed like when the playoffs started, all those rules in the regular season were never enforced. Zach says hit was clean. Timo was caught with his head down, and he took the shoulder to the face since Trouba is massive. No, that was clearly a suspendable hit. Timo Meyer at that moment was actually defenseless. You're supposed to let up. Those are the new rules that the NHL put in a couple years ago and was definitely not enforced. If that hit was 25 years ago, yes, you could make an argument, but the bottom line is you've got to protect the head and you have to protect the players. Timo Meyer could have been a lot worse had that face shield was not there. Yeah, we can agree to disagree, Zach. That's what we do here on the podcast. But at the same time, again, he had his head down. But he did, at the split second, had his head up, and then came the shoulder. Look at the replay. His head was down for most of the play, but as soon as he saw Trouba coming, he had no chance of getting out, and Trouba did not let up because he was mad that his team sucked in that game and they weren't moving on, and he just realized at that moment that maybe this franchise won't win the cup with me. It's all about the intent. Corbin says, we used to praise the same thing named Stevens for doing the same thing. Stevens never had his shoulder in someone's head. He always went for the chest, the body. He never, in his career, Scott Stevens, I think he only had 4 minutes of penalties, when elbowing penalties. Zach says, I am high. No, I'm not. Zach, then send me some videos. Send me some videos of Scott Stevens head hunting. Paul Correa? I'll have to look back. I'll look back right now. But maybe we should do that on another Woo Report. Let's not change the subject matter because it's Mother's Day. And the Devils are like a family. Yeah, and you can't compare apples and oranges, Zach. The rules were different back in 2000 and 2003 to now. Totally different. Totally different. And if you pick one play, you're saying Kevin Adams hit, just one out of what, how many? Scott Stevens' hits were pretty much clean in that era. It's a totally different era. Now Zach is going crazy in the YouTube live. There is no off season here on the Let's Go Devils podcast. Maybe we'll do that, Zach, in August. We'll start reviewing Scott Stevens' hits over and over and over and over again. But that Jacob Trouba hit deserved a suspension. It didn't matter if it was Timo Meyer or anybody. He was going to hit somebody, and he got away with it. And I think the refs have been missing all playoffs for the most part. I mean, we did have that one segment, if you remember. So where are the missing refs? They've disappeared, if you remember. But yeah, I would say this. Selected Boy says, if Tom Wilson was in the Scott Stevens era, his hits would be considered clean back then. Well, I guess Zach is a Jacob Trouba fanboy at this point. So that's why I'm just going to conclude to that. Let's see here. Max says, Stevens had a history of you better not cross the center ice with your head down. Bachagaloop says, Sam, I hope you got mom and wife flowers. Thanks a lot, Bachagaloop, for reminding me. Yeah. Anyway, just having a little bit of fun here, Zach. I appreciate your comments and all that. I'll look at those clips really closely, and maybe I will talk about it on the next podcast or something like that. So keep it here on that. Anyway, it could be selective memory. You never know, Zach. Maybe you've pointed something out. I don't know. All love, though, go Devs. Yeah, exactly. You see, it was just a little bit of a debate, a little bit of poking. But, Zach, I will say, though, your hits were clean on the YouTube Live. Zach W. Your hits were clean. So there you go. You weren't headhunting like Jacob Trouba in the YouTube Live. Just jokes. Ralph says, any chance of acquiring Bertuzzi? I don't know. That's a good question. Too early for me to think about that. I'm still getting over Game 5 at the moment. The debate continues in the YouTube Live. All right, so I'm going to be heading out for Mother's Day. I'm going to be traveling. So I'm going to be uploading the podcast on all of our podcast pages, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. If you're sitting in the car right now, listening, not driving, but listening, please subscribe to our YouTube page, at Let's Go Devils, Facebook page, at Let's Go Devils Podcast, and Twitter, at Let's Go Devils Pod. You can also go on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, subscribe. Please rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast. Say something nice. We're getting some nice comments. And also a big shout out to Germany. Germany is now surging with downloads. Looking at the numbers, that Germany, the UK, and what other country? And Switzerland combined, bringing us a lot of downloads. Our international folks. It is a devil's world out there. Also, shout out to Australia, New Zealand for the downloads, India for the downloads, Turkey, the country Turkey, has now starting to listen to the Let's Go Devils podcast. Canada as well. Canada is actually in fourth place in the country rankings. United States, obviously, number 1. Number 2, Germany. And number 3, Switzerland, which I find fantastic. We've got an international presence. Last night, went to American Whiskey, by the way, before we go. Had to break down all the equipment. Took me about a few hours. My equipment got stuck in the elevator, so I had to wait around. But just thinking what we accomplished at American Whiskey, seeing you, the fans, and all. Can I come on the stream for debate night? Hey, you know what, Zach? Let me think about it. Not making any promises. Hey, this podcast travels. Reach out to me. Find me on @PrimetimeSamWoo. DM me. Maybe we could set up a time and all that. I would love to, have a conversation on that. Because, again, I have a bad memory sometimes, so I have to look at those videos and all that because, again, the beauty of replay is, we can replay it 1,000 times and argue over the same thing. Botch Glue says I'm a Reds guy. Well, why don't you head over to American Whiskey and say hello? So we'll do that. We'll figure it out, Zach. But anyway, so at American Whiskey, we got some big things happening for next season. And, just keep it here. Thank you to everybody. I want to thank all those tuning in this Happy Devils Mother's Day. And for all you visiting your moms out there today, tell them Sam Woo on the Morning Woo says hello. Let's go Devils. Botch Glue says, I usually bar hop. Yeah, so do I. But on social media, I kind of like bar hop through all the platforms. It's not easy to do when you're on live air. But all right. Getting out of here. Put on a podcast in about 20 minutes. The Let's Go Devils podcast Sunday edition, 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. The Core 4 in the Primetime Radio studios. Scotty, Beer Baron, Shorts Guy, and I. It's going to be a good podcast. And we're ramping up the coverage, believe it or not. There is no off-season here at the Let's Go Devils podcast. This is the Morning Woo on the Woo Report. Till next time, let's go Devils.